we go. I'm going to be here on my mat, and I'm going to try and talk a little bit more loudly so that you can hear me. We're going to keep the class, pretty gentle today. Just get our bodies moving first thing in the morning. If you have modifications and other things that you might be taking care of in your body or your practice, please modify and adjust. Everything that I give is just a suggestion, and then you can make it work for you. So not sure what props you have at home. As you know, we're kind of modifying with props. If you do have yoga blocks and straps, please add those. I grabbed a couple books as well, some larger books that can work in place of a block. I have a bath towel that would be nice to use as a roll for behind the head, under the knees. And then I just grabbed some random pillows to also use for some support. So if you've been coming to my classes in March, I've been working on quads and hip flexor opening through the front of the body here. So I'll do some of that this morning. And I've also had us starting in a supported fish pose, Salamba Matsyasana. So it stretches the chest and the heart, it helps release tension in the shoulders, and it elevates the thoracic vertebra. So I'd like us to start there today. If you already know the pose and it's the supported version, you're welcome to go into it. If you're not sure, I'm going to show you some options. The most gentle variation of this pose would be to take a nice large bath towel, as I'm doing. I'm going to fold it again in half. And then I'm going to fold it one more time in half. So this is a very gentle lift, right? It's long, it's going to support the upper back and the head. If I wanted a little bit more, I'm going to take that and fold it in half. So we can think of it as like a smaller bolster. I want the folded edge of your towel or blanket to face towards the middle of your mat and where your upper back and head is going to be. And I already know I'm going to need some head support as well for my version. So I also have this meditation cushion that I'm going to put to the short end of my mat. So I have a little T shape. There is a more extreme version that I'll show you with 2 yoga blocks or your supplemental books in a block. So if you want to take it up a notch, your 1 yoga block, or if you have a book that you can put on its long setting, will go towards the back of your mat. And then I'm going to stack my books for where my head will be. So let me show you what the pose looks like, and then we can make adjustments. You're also welcome to just lie flat on the floor if that feels better for you. So you'll want to turn to face away from your props. I'm going to leave a distance here. I want my lumbar spine relaxing down, and I either want the short end of your blanket or yoga block to actually hit you here, right between the bottom of your shoulder blades. So we're purposely elevating the upper back. So when you come down, you just kind of have to figure out where you are in space. I feel my yoga block, and I'm going to rest right between my shoulder blades, release the upper back, and then I'm going to let my head find my blocks. And that's a little low for me, so I'm going to add a towel as well. There is a little bit of head fall that happens with this pose, but you don't want to strain the neck. You want those muscles to be able to open and relax. Okay, that's much better. Now, so this part is lengthening. You're welcome to keep your knees bent up, letting them fall together, toes slightly turned in. You could also take a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees here and let the legs extend out and the arms roll open. So as you're figuring out your props, I'm going to actually move to the more gentle version, just to give you another example here. So I have my little bolster folded towel, and I have my meditation cushion making that same T. Same concept. I'm going to release my back down, blanket hitting me right between the shoulder blades, and my head is supported on that next pillow. Knees can be bent. They can be draped over your bolster or pillow. And you're going to start to feel this stretch across the front of the chest. I want you to relax your shoulders down. Make sure your head is trying to find the very back center of the skull. So if you do have a ponytail back there, I want you to move it away so the head can rest in a nice neutral position there. You'll want to loosen up your clothing, adjust your legs accordingly, whether they're stretched out in Shavasana, knees bent. If you want a little hip opening, you're welcome to add Baddha Konasana as well. So you could bring on your bolster or your pillow, your feet to touch and let the knees open as well. Now that's a pretty big stretch, but if it feels good for you, you do it. If it doesn't feel good for you, you don't do it. Easy as that. And like I said, if you just want to lie flat on the floor, lie flat on the floor. And then let's close our eyes. And I want us all to take a nice deep breath in this morning. So inhaling through the nose, just start to fill your body up with some fresh air, prana, and energy. And then take a nice big exhale back out through the nose, letting go of tension, stress, cleaning the body out of stale old air and energy. Let's do that one more time, just a nice big full breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And now let's mentally start to move into the body. So we're going to start to scan our body from the top of the head all the way down to our fingertips and toes. Release tension across the face, so you'll soften your forehead and brow. Relax the eyes. If you want, poof your cheeks with air, wiggle the mouth around, soften the jaw, the throat. If you're in the lifted version of this pose, like I said, you will feel a stretch across the chest and the heart. So this pose can actually help us breathe a little bit bigger and better as it stretches the intercostal muscles. We also tend to round forward a lot in our daily lives, especially if we're doing a lot of computer work. So just allow your shoulders to fall away towards the ground. Feel the weight down through your elbows and the backs of your hands. Continue to soften through the front of the body. Try to relax the belly completely. All the way down your back, vertebra by vertebra. Relax the areas around the hips, the hip sockets, and all the way down your legs, through the knees, into the ankles, feet, and toes. As you're moving through your body, I want you to identify the areas of your body that feel awake and ready for your practice today. Honor those areas. And we also want to recognize any areas of the body that we might be healing or taking care of today. And that might be on a more subtle, emotional, or mental level. Maybe it's a shoulder, maybe it's a back, or part of the back, or your knees. Whatever it is, let's pause on those areas for a moment. Let's send a nice healing breath into those areas. And as you exhale again, let them relax. Remembering that we're all here for different reasons. We let go of judgment in our practice. And we let go of any expectations that we may have placed on ourselves or our practice. If you need to come out of the pose and readjust, do so. Otherwise, we'll stay here for just a couple more moments. And I want us to start spreading this awareness now to the breath. And all we need to do is just observe and watch the body breathe. Notice the subtle movements on your inhale as your body creates space and expands. And remembering the exhale is just as important to noticing all the subtle natural movements as the body as you breathe out. Letting the mind become centered and calming the mind by simply observing the body breathe. So I want us all to try to take one more nice round of deep breath. Let this maybe be your biggest breath of your morning yet. So on this next breath in, really fill yourself up all the way to the brim, like you're filling up your cup of water. And again, when you get to your next exhale, take your time to exhale all the way back out. And again, letting go of anything we don't need to hold on to for our practice. Then we're going to slowly start to come back into the body. So at first, just feel and notice your body in this opening pose. Start to make tiny little movements in the toes, the fingertips. Depending where your head is, if it's fallen back, I don't want you to rock it, but if your head is in neutral, you might give your head a little rock side to side. If your knees are open in Baddha Konasana, I'm going to have you use your muscles and draw your knees back up together. And then I want us all to try to straighten the legs out on your mat. You can stay on your props behind your back and head for a moment, or you can take them out. So the legs are going to extend straight forward on your mat, nice and close together if you can. And I want you to reach your arms up towards the ceiling now, and then let them float beside the ears. If you're up on props, they might not touch the ground. And I just want you to take a nice big stretch here. So you can spread your fingers, spread your toes, maybe feel like you're stretching your right side a little bit longer, and then stretch your left side a little bit longer. And then everything stretches. Big breath in. On your exhale, we'll float those arms back down. So from here, if you're lower to the ground, I'll have you roll to the side, sliding your props out. If you're higher up on yoga blocks, you can actually use your elbows and your hands. You'll tuck your chin and you can peel yourself up and slide your props off. So I want you to clear your mat. If you need a little support for the back of the head under a folded towel or blanket, that's fine. And then I want us to lie back down on the ground. So you're going to come all the way back down, make your adjustments, and we're going to start to coordinate the brain with the body here. So water pump pose, I want you to bring the insides of your legs back together again, arms down beside you, palms down. Take a nice deep breath in and re-extend your arms up to the ceiling and overhead. Flex your feet here, so really pull your toes into your shin bones. You'll feel your low back maybe gently arching. On the exhale, I want you to point your toes forward and float your arms back down beside the body. So all we're doing is getting our body to coordinate. Here, inhale, toes and fingers reach to the back wall. As you exhale, point the toes, pump the arms, draw the low belly in. Keep moving with your rhythm. Nice flowing movements just kind of help loosen up the whole body. One more option if you want a little strengthening. Next exhale, point toes, pump the arms. You may float your head up, looking to your toes and also stretching out the root of that neck. Belly's in. And then when you inhale, you drop the head and re-extend. Let's all try 2 more. The exhale draws the belly in, presses the arms, maybe lifts the head. Your inhale re-extends. We're going to meet on the inhale, reaching overhead. On this exhale, I want you to draw the belly in and pull your right knee in, Pavana Muktasana. And you're going to take your hands across your shin bone or behind your thigh if that's better for your knee. And then just very gently, I want you to draw your right knee towards your right armpit. Shoulders are down. This is purposeful compression for the right hand side of the belly. Left leg can be a little bit more active if you want. Your breath is continuing to just breathe evenly and smoothly. Take another big breath in. And your exhale, just release the foot down, slide the leg all the way back out. Use the core, pull your left knee in, Pavana Muktasana. Interweave your hands, the opposite grip on the shin bone, or again behind the thigh. And as you exhale, you can gently draw your left knee towards your left armpit. Keep your shoulders down, head in neutral. right leg can be more relaxed or more active. So you might even feel a stretch to the top of your right hip as you're compressing your left side. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, release that foot and leg all the way down. Inhale, reach both arms overhead, stretch it out. Exhale, bring your arms down. Let's walk both feet in. Use the core, draw your knees in. Feet parallel to each other and just rock, massage the back here. So we'll do a couple more postures on our back before we transition. So I want us to drop the feet back down to the ground, but this time closer towards the sit bones. You're going to have about 4 inches or so between your thighs. Now you can take a yoga block or a thicker book, if you have it, between your inner thighs. We're going to go into flowing bridge pose now. So this will start to stretch the front of the quads and hips again, and it'll strengthen our back side. In your bridge, do not turn your head to look at me, listen to my voice. Find one spot on the ceiling to gaze at. Draw your shoulder blades under. If you're healing or taking care of your neck or shoulders, you can modify. Arms beside you, you can bend at the elbows, palms facing in to create a more solid foundation in the upper body. I want you to contract your glutes, squeeze a block or book if you have it. Otherwise, just keep energy between your inner thighs. And on your inhale, I want you to press down through your arms and feet to lift your hips up. As you exhale, you'll lower your hips back down to the ground. So again, move with your breath. The inhale strengthens the back, so squeeze the buttocks, stretch the quads and the hips. Exhale, lower down. I'm going to give us some more variations. Again, you can pick and choose. Your arms can come flat down beside you, palms down, and when you inhale, you lift up. Now the chest can move towards the chin, avoid tucking the chin to the chest. All the weight moves into the shoulders, not the neck. One more movement is with the arms. So when you inhale and lift your hips up, the arms reach back up to the ceiling and overhead. When you exhale the hips down, your arms come back down beside you. And for some of us, that feels like a really nice shoulder massage. So again, it can help kind of give your muscles a little massage and help relieve tension and tightness in the area. I like to say our yoga practice is like giving ourselves a massage from the inside out. So let's try one more, whatever version you're choosing to do. And then we'll inhale, lift the hips back up, and I want you to try to hold Setu Bandhasan. So if your arms are overhead because you were flowing, bring your arms back down beside you. Keep squeezing your block, engaging your buttock, or energetically having that energy so the knees don't fall open here. Now you can try to walk your shoulder blades under a little bit more. Those of you that want to try to interweave your hands under your back, you may. But the whole time you're drawing the tops of your hips towards your knees, pressing down through the feet, weight into the shoulders. Try to take one more breath here. And when you get to another nice exhale, release your arms, lower and melt your back to the floor. Now you just might do little gentle windshield wiping movements here. And then you can draw the belly in, hug your knees in, and give your back a little massage here. So we're going to make a transition to a seated pose. You can bring your right arm beside you or left if that's easier. Roll over to your side and pause for a moment so the head can rest on the arm, your top hand to the floor in front of the heart. To come up, you can turn the heart to the ground, extend your top leg, and push down to bring the body up. So I like to do a little bit more fluid movements just to kind of get the blood flowing, improve our circulation, and loosen things up. So we did a little bit of that for the lower half of the body. Let's get into the upper half of the body and do our spinal movements for our day, the movements we should do every day. I would recommend sitting up on something. That could even be a chair. I have my meditation pillow I'm going to sit on, but if you have a yoga block, that's fine. You can also take your folded towels or blankets and use them as a wedge. Basically, we want to avoid our tight hamstrings and back muscles pulling us out of alignment, and ideally keeping a neutral spine so that the sacrum is perpendicular to the floor. Even more ideal, the knees would be slightly lower than the hips. Doesn't happen for me. I have nice tight hamstrings and low back, so I prop myself up. So if you know where you like to sit, please just sit where you normally would. Sukhasana, easy cross, Siddhasana. You can also bring your feet beside the hips into Virasana if you like. Wherever you are, I do want you to find your sit bones. So you can literally reach around and pull the flesh out of the way so you really feel that contact with the bony part of your bottom. Again, this will kind of tell you where your pelvis is. And then you are drawing in and up through that low belly to help support the back. We'll breathe more thoracically here around the rib cage. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Reach your arms out beside you, clear your space if you need to, palms up. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Turn your palms back out, exhale, bring it back down to the ground. So let's just do one more, centering breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Now keep your fingertips to the floor, Upavishta Trikonasana. You're going to turn your right palm up and inhale, create length. I want you to stay rooted in the sit bones. As you exhale, you can lean over to your left. So this is lateral extension. You're moving in this lateral plane. We're going to hold it here for a couple breaths. Your throat should be open, head is an extension of your spine. Couple other variations would be to turn your heart towards your left knee and extend your right fingertips slightly forward at an angle. You'll feel that that changes the stretch more to the upper back and shoulder. You can also spiral the heart up, rolling through the torso and taking your drishti up. And then again, that will translate more through the front of the chest and shoulders. That's totally up to you. And you can explore both of those. Or come back to the lateral extension. Take one more breath. Now use your muscles. You have to contract your right side to inhale it up. Bring your left arm up so both arms are reaching, creating a little bit of symmetry. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Other side. Inhale, left arm. Root your sit bones. You can also draw up through Mula Bandha, root lock, pelvic floor, Uddiyana Bandha, lower abdominal lock to support your back. As you're ready, you're moving in that lateral plane. Seated triangle pose. So it's a nice big side stretch here. If you want to explore those other options, you can rotate the heart towards your right knee, reaching your left fingertips slightly forward to get into the upper back and shoulder. You can also spiral the heart open, drawing that top shoulder back. And any other little movement that you'd like to try to explore there in your body. On your next inhale, I want you to contract your whole left side. Bring both arms back up to neutral. Reach and extend. Exhale, palms out. Float the fingertips down. Take a big shoulder roll. So those of us sitting cross-legged, note which foot is in front. We'll give our legs a quick little break. We're going to come back to seated, and I want you to try to place the opposite foot in front. So if you need to give them a quick little stretch and a wiggle, get the blood flowing back through the knees, go ahead and do so. And then come back with the opposite foot in front, sitting up nice and tall. Come right back to that alignment through the sit bones. One more time. Reach the arms out wide. Inhale the arms up. Bring your palms to touch and exhale your hands to heart center. Interweave all 10 fingers. You can try to take that opposite grip if you want. As you exhale, purposeful rounding and flexion of your spine. So you're going to push your palms forward and tuck and round at the back. Your chin can drop down towards your chest. As you inhale, tip your pelvis forward. Create length up the spine, drawing the head of the arm bones back. The exhale takes you into purposeful flexion, rounding over an invisible beach ball. The inhale takes you into extension, helping to improve our posture, create length up the back. Do one more of each with your breath. Seated cat-cow pose. Let's meet on the inhale. Open the arms up, active twisting now. So on your exhale, you'll twist and squeeze to your right. Now look, the arms can just hover parallel to the floor, or they can reach towards the opposite knee in the ground. They might not even touch. You may let your head and eyeballs follow behind you. The inhale is going to bring everything back up to center. Keep this length. Exhale, you're rotating, twisting to your left. Arms can extend down. You may let the head and eyes follow. Let's do one more to each side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, ring and twist everything out. Stretch your eyes out. Use your peripheral vision. Try to find that furthest point behind you and open them really wide. Inhale, arms up. And exhale one more time to your left. Twist and ring it all out. Big breath in. We'll come back to our center. Palms touch. Exhale to heart. So we're going to make another transition now to tabletop. You're welcome to crawl forward over your legs, or one more time, stretch your legs out, give them a little wiggle. We'll come off of our props here. And this, you want to use some props as extra cushions for your knees, folded blankets. If you are, smooth them out. And I usually recommend, if you're placing something underneath the knees, that it should also be underneath your shins, so that the knees and the shins stay on the same plane. Another little trick you can do is take a hold of your mat about halfway, fold it back 3 to 4 inches so that your knees have cushion there. So tabletop, just like a table, we want to stack the joints. So our arms are the front legs of the table, thigh bones are the back legs of the table. And I want your hands to spread as wide as you can, splay your fingers. And your hands have to be as broad as your shoulders, as wide as the girth of your shoulders here. Bend into the elbows a little bit so that your muscles are doing some of the work and we're not just locking out at our elbow joint. Slight rounding in of the low belly, spine is in neutral but to support your back, and your knees and your feet are about hips width apart. And then you want your head just to kind of float in neutral with the spine instead of letting it drop towards the ground. So keeping our hips level, I just want you to stretch your right foot back behind you for now. You can shift your weight back to that heel to stretch out the back of the leg. Now we're going to squeeze our right side and try to hover the right leg parallel to the floor. Your toes are pointing straight down to the ground. So this will be a little bit more core work. Those of you that want, stretch your left arm forward. The palm faces in, the thumb is up. Press out through the first knuckles in your right hand. Spinal integration, this is a balancing pose. Take a breath. Try to take one more nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, you'll release, hand and knee down. Other side, stretch your left foot back. Foot to the floor to start. Just give those muscles a nice little stretch. You can press your heel back a little bit more. Weight should be evenly distributed in the hands. And then you'll have to use your muscles of the left side, the glutes, everything to lift that left leg up parallel to the floor. Really flex that foot, toes point down. Option, hover your right arm up, palm in, thumb up. And we're just holding, balancing, and breathing. Take one more nice deep breath in. Exhale, tabletop. So let's do a couple cat-cows, but let's go over our options in our hands. So you can come up on your fingertips. So it looks like you're holding a nice big apple here. And you're on your fingertips. And that can help decompress the wrists. You can also take a nice strong punching fist, as you're gonna punch. The palms face each other, and you can be in fist for wrist. So when your wrists are building up strength, you have flat palms, hasta bandha on your fingertips, rounding through the knuckles, and you have fist for wrist. So whenever you get comfortable, as we breathe in, we're gonna soften the belly and create length from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. As you exhale, scoop the tailbone under, draw the belly in, tuck and round. Chin can move towards the chest. So again, this is extension for the spine on the inhale to cow pose, helps decompress the spine. The exhale, purposeful rounding to stretch tight muscles of the back. Any other little movements you might want to do. And then we're going to come back to neutral, and we're going to revisit a pose here and see what happens. So nice, strong, all the way through the knuckles of the fingertips. Re-extend your right leg back behind you from your hips. Again, hover your right leg parallel to the floor. So at first, all I want you to do is use your muscles to bend your right knee. You can try pointing the toes of the right foot up, right thigh parallel to the floor. So this might be as far as you go today, just trying to draw your right heel to your right glute. Those of you that want to add Ardha Dhanurasana, you'll re-extend that left arm forward, palm and thumb up to start, flip your thumb down, and then reach around. Now you might not find anything back there today. If you don't, just bring the hand back down, and you're going to be using more muscular strength. If you've reached around, and you can take a hold of the top of the foot or the toes, you can hold here, or you can very gently kick the foot into the hand. It will pull your left shoulder back. Half bow pose. Don't jam your low back or your knees. Don't compromise your body for a pose. Big breath in. Those of you that have the foot, release it mindfully. Don't fling it. Bring the hand back down. We're all now going to exhale and pull our right knee under the body and draw the nose towards the knee. When you inhale, flex the right foot up to the ceiling. So this pose is called a crouching tiger pose. And again, it helps loosen up that hip joint. Exhaling, tucking and rounding. Inhaling. You can look slightly forward and up. Let's do one more. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, right knee comes down. Fingertips, fists for wrists. Take a couple of your cat and your cows to neutralize the spine. So we'll try that on the other side. Stabilize the back, pull the low belly in. Re-extend the left leg straight back. And then float that left leg parallel to the floor. Simply try to bend your left knee. Squeeze in the heel towards the glute. You can point the toes of the left foot. Stay here or extend your right arm forward, palm and thumb up. You flip the thumb down and then you reach around. And you're trying again to maybe take a hold of the foot or the top of the toes. If there's nothing back there, don't worry about it. Bring the hand down. You can be on fingertips and just squeezing. If you did find the top of the foot, carefully, if you want to add half bow, you are allowing that stretch to pull the shoulder back slightly. Head is in a nice neutral spine. Take one more breath in. No flinging of the feet. Release. Bring the hand down. On the exhale, everyone try to pull their left knee forward. You could draw the nose towards the knee. As you inhale, the foot flexes, sole of the foot lifts, and you can look slightly forward. Crouching tiger. Exhale, drawing the body. Knee under the body. Inhale, pressing it up. One more. We'll meet on that inhale, lifting. Exhale, bring it to neutral. Take a cat, take a cow, stretch it out. And then let's take a break off of our hands. So child's pose. Any version you want to go, if you know. Wide knee is a nice option. So I'm actually opening my knees as wide as my mat. I'm touching the big toes together. I'm going to try to draw my hips to my heels. I can continue to walk the fingertips forward, melting the belly, the heart, and the head to the ground. If you're in a comfortable place, stay there. Modifications for child's pose. I like to give lots of modifications, and I don't have you guys here with me today, so I can't see you and let you know what might work better for you. So we just gotta work with what we got. You can take your rolled towel behind your knee crease. That will keep the back of the knees open as you sit back. You don't even have to sit back. You can keep your hips higher up and rest on your forearms in more of a puppy pose. And if the head doesn't easily touch the ground, you can stack your fists under the forehead, your forearms, or one of your books or a yoga block under your forehead. You can be more actively walking your hands towards the front of your mat, still getting this nice stretch to the side body here. You can be in a much more passive version of child's pose, softening the shoulders, the elbows, maybe even sliding your hands to your feet. Lots of options, I know. Just pick and choose whatever works for you today. Let's take a few more breaths in our child's pose. So if our hands are behind us, re-extend your hands forward. We're all going to bring our body back up so you can float your head and the body back up to a tabletop. So stretch your legs out one at a time here to get the blood flowing back through the knees. Those of you that would like, you can tuck the toes under, draw the low belly in, and you can press up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And if you're in your downward facing dog, go through all your principles of alignment that you hear in class normally. If you already have adjustments and modifications for these poses, you're your own best teacher. You just remember to incorporate those things throughout your class. So down dog, people, internal rotation through the hands, mounted index finger and thumb, fingers wide, hands as wide as the shoulders. Roll your shoulders away from the ears so that the head is floating between the arms and the neck is long. Continue to round that low belly in as if you're drawing your belly toward your thighs. If you're pedaling your heels, you're bending the opposite knee, so you're getting a nice long stretch down the legs. And my tabletop people, if you're just stretching one leg out at a time, same thing. So I am actually going to have us come up to standing today. You can get there. I want us to go into a standing forward fold, so transitioning through that if it's an option. So my down dog people, you can look forward and you can baby step or walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. If you're in tabletop, you can just lunge one foot at a time. Take your time, there's no hurry. Uttanasana, this is a deep forward fold. Your feet are parallel to each other, nice Tadasana legs. So you don't want to jam your kneecaps back. I modify this pose quite a bit for my back. So I bend my knees and I place my elbows on my thighs. And then I just try to let my head get a little bit of an inversion. You can even have your hands if that's better. Those of you that want to go into the fuller pose, you can dangle your arms. Some people like to ragdoll hands into elbows, but you have to be strong through the lower half of the body. So even pick up your toes. Spread them nice and wide. Make sure shin bones are slightly forward. Your thigh bones can move back. And you're drawing in through the pelvic floor muscles, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha of the lower belly. So let the lower half of the body do the work so the upper half of the body can release. And this is a gentle inversion, so just be mindful of any blood pressure conditions or heart conditions, glaucoma. On our next inhale, we're going to do our standing halfway lift. So this will strengthen the back. Even if your elbows are on your thighs, you can still lift and strengthen the upper back. So you're trying to come up about halfway, open the chest and heart, fingertips can be lower. As you exhale, you're going to fold back down. I sometimes call these standing cobras because they're a great way to strengthen the upper back and improve our posture. Inhale, halfway lift. If you want more, you can shalabhasana your arms beside the body, palms facing in. You're squeezing and energizing that upper back. Your head is in neutral. Exhale, fold. Let's try 2 more. Inhale, lift the chest, squeeze the muscles of the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. If you have your arms here, we're going to exhale into Utkatasana. So you bend your knees, you sit back in that invisible chair, and your arms can extend forward and up. So this is a powerful pose. Shrug the shoulders from the ears. Bring your hands to your heart. And look at your feet. Are they turned in, turned out? One's doing one thing, while the other's doing another. I really want you to find that nice symmetry all the way up the centers of the feet. Knees pointing to the middle of the feet. Draw that low belly and lift the chest up into your thumbs. Head and neck is nice and soft. So let's do a little bit of balance today. I think that will help everybody feel a little bit more balanced from the inside, maybe. So drawing in, just see if you can hover your right foot from the floor here for a moment. And if you weeble and wobble around, that's totally fine. Let's bring the right foot down. You can lean a little bit, but try to do more strengthening. Lift the left foot up here. And bring it down. Maybe sink a little lower into the pose. We're going to take a big breath in and just draw a nice big circle out and up. Straightening up through the legs, extending the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms touch. Exhale to your center. So standing in your Tadasana, again, energizing all the way up the legs. Active feet. Rooting down through the mound of the big toe and inner heel, mound of the pinky toe and outer heel. Don't jam your knees back, but keep the energy moving up the front. So it's almost like you're trying to lift your kneecaps up through the front of the quads. You can draw the hips in, pelvic floor, low belly. And then the head again just floats on top of the shoulders here. So we're going to do a little bit more balance work, bringing the hands back to heart. This time, I want you to lean to your right. And I want you to actively push through that right leg, push it through the floor. You might notice that this left foot starts to get a little light. And if it does, you can try lifting and lowering your toes a couple times. Maybe eventually hovering the foot from the floor, soften your arms out beside you and just pretend like you're hovering on a tightrope maybe. A little bit more, this pose is called Tarasana or star pose. You can spread your fingers and toes and reach the body out all 4 directions here. And sometimes we're a shooting star and we go falling out of the sky, and that's okay too. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, try to bring yourself right back to Tadasana. Try not to fidget, move around. Really keep your focus and concentration. That's what the balancing poses do. Bring hands to heart, lean to your left. Pushing that leg to the ground. So this is super strong and sturdy. If that other foot gets a little light, you can start lifting and lowering the toes. Maybe try to hover, floating the foot and the arms just softly out beside you. Remember that we use our drishti or focal point when we're balancing in yoga. Sometimes looking towards the floor in front of you can be a little bit easier for the brain. You can pick a spot on your horizon or even upwards. And then of course, like I do in class, more active version, spread fingers and toes. If you have safe space around you, I didn't do it on the first side, you can blink your eyes and eventually practice blind balancing. Really wonderful for the brain and the body. Take a breath. Big breath in. On your exhale, try to land very softly, smoothly, right back into Tadasana. Crown of the head lengthening upwards. And again, let's inhale, reach those arms up. Palms touch, exhale to our center. So let's step back towards the front of our mat if we've moved around, and you'll be standing back in a Tadasana towards the front. On our next inhale, we'll re-extend the arms up. You can take your drishti up if you just like a little bit of extension here. On your exhale, micro bend your knees, hinge from your hips, and you can draw your arms wide and down. I'm going to hit a wall, so I'm not going to go any further. You can go all the way back down into your forward fold. Whatever version you're taking, Uttanasana. If you want to release the shoulders, the head, the neck, you're more than welcome to. Inhale, back to that halfway lift. One more time, opportunity to improve our posture and strengthen our back. This exhale, we're going to find our mat again. You can do that however works best for you. If you want to bend your knees and plant your hands, you're more than welcome to. And then I want us to find plank pose. Lots of different planks out there. You can be in straight arm plank, fingers wide, hands as broad as your shoulders. You can be in kneeling plank. The idea is to keep that nice straight line from the knees, hips, shoulders, and the crown of the head. So no sinking and sagging. Push the ground away from you. If that doesn't feel great for your wrists, forearm plank. And I can't see you, but no cheating. Hold a plank and smile and breathe. Wonderful pose to help strengthen the core for your low back. We're going to try to hold for 30 more seconds. That's only 3 breaths. We can do it. So compact the hips, press through the knuckles if you're on your flat palms. Keep your drishti slightly forward so the head stays in line with the spine. You're pulling into that low belly. You can lengthen the upper buttocks towards the heels. Almost there. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1. Big breath in if you want. Float your hips up. And then exhale back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adjust your feet as you need to. You're also welcome to come to a child's pose to come off your hands. That's where we'll all catch up anyway. And if you were in forearm plank, you can drop down to your knees and sit back to child's pose and press it back up. Good. So my down dog people, if you're still in down dog, get one more nice little moment here in your gentle inversion. On your inhale, you'll float your heels up as high as you can, stretch out the soles of the feet, the toes. And then let's all exhale, drop the knees back down to the ground and sit your body back into your version of Balasana or Child's Pose. Another more traditional version, you keep your knees together and then you can bow forward and bring your hands back by your feet and really release the shoulders and the wrists. Check in with your body. So we'll transition again here. If it's all right on your knees, hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the chin. You can round up one vertebra at a time, restacking the spine. You can simply shift your hips to one side. You can also transition whatever works best for you. We want our feet to come forward. And it's time to come back down to our back. So have space behind you. If you know that you're going to want a little bit of support for the back of the head, you can have that ready. My towel got all wonky here. So safest way to come down to your back is to come to one side, use your hands to release the body down and then roll onto your back. So you can do that. If you want to continue with just a little bit more strengthening today, and do our slow roll down. So if you come to my classes, you know I like to do this one as well. Your feet are flat to the floor, insides of the feet touch. I'm going to let my knees open wider than my hips. So I'm drawing the tail under and I am rounding at the belly because I really want to be contracted here. Don't compromise your back. Reach forward. And you can always go to your extent and then wait for us on our back. So fingertips reach forward, drawing the belly in, head in line with the spine. I'm trying to articulate my back. So I'm bringing this low part down, the sacrum, belly's in, belly's in. And then the lumbar, that's the hard one, and then the thoracic, the shoulder blades, the back of the head. When you touch down, turn your knees up, press your heels forward, and reach your arms overhead. So just another long body stretch here. Spread your fingers, spread your toes, stretch out your right side, stretch out your left. And then as you exhale, arms float down, make all your adjustments, walk your feet in, hug your knees in. So we're going to do a little bit more hip work here. Let's get back to the front of the quads and the hip flexors. So like I said, if you've been coming to my classes in March, we have done this pose a couple times. Try to listen to the cueing. I know this pose is a little confusing for the brain, but we'll just do our best, and I'll try to demo it the best I can so it makes sense. So your knees are bent, and I actually want you to bring your knees back up. Sorry, bring your knees up. Feet are parallel to each other. Weights in the shoulders. Support the back of the head if you need to. Cross your right ankle only on top of your left ankle. Don't hold on to your legs. Try to do this on your own. And relax the feet so the toes are just kind of pointing away from you. Then you're going to reach down with your right hand and try to take a hold of your left foot. That's the one at the bottom. From there, I want you to look at your left knee. That left knee, I want it to fall straight forward towards the ground. And as you do that, you're pulling the left foot down towards the right buttock. Okay, so the right leg's not doing anything right now. I just want you to try to get your left knee to fall straight forward and down to the ground. Let me flip myself around. Left knee, not out to the side as much as you can. Now look, if this compromises the knee or the low back, again, you need to make your modifications, okay? So we're trying to get this whole stretch up the front of the left thigh and hip flexors. If your back starts to hyperextend too much, draw the belly in. Try to keep both lengths of the torso equal. So you can just hang out here, especially if you're really tight and the knees way up in the air. This is a wonderful pose for you to do. So if you do lots of sitting, we got to stretch out the front of those hips. So variations, here we go. First variation, both hands now. So you just let your left foot hang out down there. Wrap around the right shin bone or behind, and you're trying to draw your right knee to right shoulder as you continue to energetically push your left knee down, yeah? Shoulders down, head in neutral. Last option, place the right foot down right in front of the left on the ground. Let this knee fall open, and that might intensify that stretch up the left side. And you can go back to any of those versions, right? A little bit more arms overhead. And then let the exhale help release any tension and tightness that might be found across the front of your left hip and quad. So to come out of the pose, arms can come down, right knee comes up and in. because you need to be able to slide your left foot carefully out from underneath you. Once that comes out, bring both knees to neutral, give your back a little massage. You can stretch both legs up to waterfall pose for a moment. Stretch out the backs of the knees. So other side, bend the knees in. Cross your left ankle over your right. Left hand reaches down for the right foot that should be on the bottom. Look at your right knee. I want that knee to try to fall straight forward, not out to the side. There'll be a different stretch. Simultaneously, I'm encouraging my right foot to my left buttock. If your foot cramps, come out of the pose, give it a break. Now this side is a lot tighter for me, so this will feel different for me. You can just hang out here, letting gravity do some of that work for that right side. I'll remind you of your options. One is to take the hands across the left shin bone or behind the knee and carefully pull left knee to shoulder, simultaneously encouraging right knee down. Other version, left foot flat to the floor, left knee falls open. That can intensify that stretch. And if you're really feeling it, relax the face. Don't tense up the mouth, tongue, and jaw. When tension leaves one part of our body, it often likes to travel to another part. So this is starting to relax, but then all of a sudden we're clenching our jaw. So you gotta let it relax. Arms can come up overhead. Let the exhale breathe away tension and tightness in the body. So when you feel balanced, arms come down, left knee up and in so that you can carefully slide the right foot out. Draw both knees together, rock it out. Re-extend both legs up, gentle inversion, point and flex the feet. From here, if you want to do one more pose before our final Shavasana, you can. You can open up wide into Supta Konasana and let gravity stretch out your inner thighs and groin muscles. You can take a happy baby, rocking here, hands to the toes, the feet, or even behind the thighs. Maybe you want to bring the feet down and continue this opening and lift up into a bridge, whatever you want. You can also take a spinal twist. You can bring your arms out beside you. Drop your knees over to your right for a breath or two. And then you can float them up and take them to your left for a breath or two. A more gentle twist, just rocking your knees side to side in a windshield wiper movement. So, good. I'm actually doing a full class here. So we have about 12 minutes to 15 minutes. We got a little late start, so maybe I'll go a little longer if you don't mind. And I'll guide us through Shavasana through the first portion, and then I'm going to leave several minutes, at least 5 minutes, for us to just lie quietly in your space, or if you have some soft, gentle music you'd want to play, you're more than welcome to. Use your props, so if you want to support the back of the head, I would highly recommend that. And if you have a pillow or bolster to place behind your knees or your thighs, if you want to try to create a little lift, I'm just kind of stacking things here. I don't know if this will quite work, but for underneath the shins, maybe that kind of works. If you have blankets that you want to place on top of you, if you have eye pillows, or grab a washcloth and fold it up and place it underneath the eyes, you can do that. I'm gonna, like I said, guide us through some Shavasana to relax, give us some quiet time, and then I will use my singing bowl today to bring us out of Shavasana and finish our class today. So continue to make yourself comfortable on your mat. Adjust your clothing and adjust your hair. Move anything around you that doesn't need to be there so that the body can open and relax. Legs can be stretched out all the way, feet flopping open. If it's more comfortable for the back and you don't have a prop, you can bend your knees and let them fall together. The shoulders can be drawing down, out, or under. And just let your arm bones roll open beside the body, palms up, fingertips curling in naturally. Close the eyes. When you close the eyes, you might notice that you need to make some other little adjustments. Feel free to make those adjustments in the beginning so that you can find stillness in the end. And then begin to smooth the skin of the forehead and the brow. Let the eyes sink into the sockets. Relax the outer ears, the inner ears. Poof the cheeks, wiggle out the mouth, the tongue and jaw. And then with the lips softly touching, try to release the tongue into the lower palate and the lower palate to gravity. Relax the throat. Soften the heart and the chest. Feel the weight of the shoulders, the elbows, the backs of the hands sinking into the ground. Relax all the way down the back of the body, vertebra by vertebra. Relax around the waist. And completely relax the abdomen and the belly. All of the muscles, all of the internal organs. Soften the larger muscles of the buttocks, the hip sockets. Relax the top of the thighs, the backs of the thighs. And just like water, let that relaxation flow all the way down the legs, through the knees, into the ankles, the feet. Soften the soles of the feet and relax all of the toes and the space between the toes. Relax the whole body. Soften and relax the inside of the body. The breath is easy, quiet, and calm. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the peaceful breath. And for just one more moment of our day, we give ourselves permission to let go Feel a sense of surrender and simply be and breathe. slowly coming back to the breath. As you're ready, breathing life back into the body. You can start by waking up the toes, the fingertips, maybe threading the thumb across the tip of each finger several times. You can gently rock the head side to side, roll the ankles and wrists. Those of you that would like to re-extend your arms overhead for one last big stretch on your mat, can lengthen out that right side, lengthen the left. On the exhale, floating the arms down. Simply stepping the feet in, knees touching, hands resting on the belly of the heart, or you can draw your knees in and massage your back. Traditionally pausing on our right-hand side in Supta Balasana, you're more than welcome to roll to either side. If you're rolling to your right, right arm beside the head, rolling all the way over into a fetal position, resting the head on the arm, and the left hand falls to the floor in front of the heart. Pausing to reflect on our practice, and maybe setting a positive mental intention or mantra to take with us off of our mat back into our day. So try to keep the eyes soft or closed. You can turn your heart towards the ground. You can extend your top leg forward as you press down. We'll bring the body back up. And you can revisit any comfortable seated posture on your mat. We're going to finish with just a couple more nice breaths together today. So sitting up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Minding your space, let's extend the arms out beside the body, palms up. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, float the arms all the way up to the ceiling, and let's gather up everything we need for the rest of this day. Turn your palms back out. Exhale, float the arms all the way back down to the ground, letting go of all that other junk we don't need. And let's take one more big inhale together. Reach your arms all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart into Anjali Mudra. Humbly bow the head to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and remembering to be grateful for anyone else in our life that made it possible for us to practice yoga today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Om, peace, peace, peace. So I thank each and every one of you for all of your patience, for tuning in. I hope it worked out well for you. We miss you guys a lot, and Jonathan and Adi are just doing everything in their power to keep us connected and to keep our practice a part of our daily routine. So hopefully this works. We'll get more stuff ironed out. I'll be able to do more classes with you guys live. If you have any questions or comments, I would love feedback as well. I don't want to inundate Jonathan with a bunch of that, but you can email Austin Yoga Tree, and you're welcome to email me too. I'm at yogitayoga@yahoo.com. That's YOGITAYOGA@yahoo.com. If you want to give me specific feedback from today's session, I would appreciate it. So I'm gonna stop the recording and end this meeting. Have a great day. Keep your eyes open for emails about our next session and everything else that Austin Yoga Tree is doing. All right, bye.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I heard somebody.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.